Hello and welcome to my channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel and also click the little bell to be notified every time I upload. Thank you for watching. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something slightly different. I have been requested to do a tattoo tour. So what I'm going to do is talk you through all the different tattoos that I have and tell you a little bit about how I got them, when I got them, why I got them, just basically tell you a little bit about them. I have got some notes written down because this is a bit of a historical journey and I can't remember exact dates of everything, so you'll have to let me off there. So, starting at the beginning. It was the late 1980s and I was single and I was living in London and I wanted to get my first tattoo. So I went to see a tattoo artist in Soho who was extremely famous at the time. His name is Dennis Cockell, and he used to do all sorts of famous people's tattoos. You may know Bob Geldof. Well, his wife, who sadly is no longer with us, Paula Yates, she had a beautiful big Chinese fish on her arm, and Dennis did that. He also used to do, there was a rockabilly group called the Stray Cats, and he used to do all theirs. Anyway, so I went to see him, and he did some purple and red roses on my back and just some sort of, they weren't very naturalistic, they were just very sort of patterny and rosy, and I liked them very much. That was in 1989. So the thing with tattoos is once you've got one, the rest of you looks terribly plain. I wanted another one. The roses are on one side, so I thought, well, if I get some sort of bird, or not really a butterfly, but mainly a bird, I thought, on the other side, that would balance it out. And it just so happened at the time that there was a newspaper, I think it was called the Today newspaper, it's no longer around, and they said they would pay half of the tattoo if they could take lots of pictures and put the pictures of me getting the tattoo and when it was starting all the way through, and if they could put it in the paper. So of course I said yes, went back to see Dennis, and he agreed with me that a bird would be nice. So I'd looked at lots of different types of birds and photographs and wasn't quite sure. And then I found this beautiful book of Victorian paintings of birds of around the world. And there was a lovely magpie there, Chinese magpie he was. And I thought, oh, that's a lovely picture. I'll have him swooping over my shoulder and heading towards the roses. So I said this to Dennis and he was like, fine. He had the book and we started. Next thing you know, this magpie covers the whole of my back. So it wasn't quite what I'd expected, but in fact it turned out to be a lot better. Anyway, so that was the magpie. Next, I had met Jonathan, my lovely husband, by this time, and we wanted to get not matching tattoos, but tattoos along a theme. So we went back to see Dennis and he gave us both armbands. Mine has got little purple balls in the actual design, and Jonathan's got bats in his design with little purple balls hanging off their tails. So that was the next one we had done together, and in the centre of mine there's a big, it's supposed to be a moonstone, and it's one of those bands that goes all the way round, because back when everyone was having bands around their upper arms, because it's so painful to get done on the actual inside of your arm there, a lot of people have a gap there, but because we're, you know, hard as nails, ours go all the way round. Many years go by and I decide I need a new tattoo. We had looked around in Brighton where we'd moved, and there seemed to be only one person that we wanted to do our tattoo, and this was a chap called James Robinson, and he had a waiting list of 2 years. So one cold winter's day, he was opening his diary for his waiting list. We queued up for hours and hours to get our names on his waiting list, and we waited 2 years, and then in 2012 I got my fruit bat on my shoulder. James trained as a fine artist before he became a tattooist, so you can tell this when you look at the fruit bat, and I wanted something a little bit special about this bat. So because of my love of pre-Raphaelite art, I decided to have the fruit bat holding a pomegranate. He put that in. The fruit bat is now on my shoulder, as you can see, and he did a sort of joining fruit bat. He did a beautiful moon here. There's clouds across the moon and little bats in the background. So that was 2012, and that was my fruit bat. 2014 comes along, and I decide, well, my other shoulder is very naked, and I wanted something there to really mark my success in having trained and successfully done my first few marathons. I got a tattoo of what we here in Brighton refer to as the Peace Statue, and she stands between Hove and Brighton. She stands looking over the sea and the town, and it's part of when you train for a marathon, you use the seafront a lot for training runs, and it's always either when you get to the Peace Statue, turn round, or I'll meet you at the Peace Statue, or on Christmas morning, everybody meets at the Peace Statue to go for a Christmas morning run. So that is my marathon tattoo, my Peace Statue. And of course, there's more bats and clouds to make sure that it fits in with the other side. Also in 2014, because I had really started marathoning quite a lot by this stage, I wanted some tattoo on my leg. I went back to see James at the Gilded Cage, and we decided that a long-eared bat would be a nice addition to my lower thigh. So he took a fairly naturalistic approach to it, and then put a lovely sketchy flock of bats in the background. I managed to get a screen grab of the titles of a TV show called Penny Dreadful, and there's a beautiful flock of bats on that, and I took my inspiration from there, and James did an absolutely beautiful job of my long-eared bat on my right thigh. So that's the first one I had that you can actually see the majority of when I'm running along in a pair of shorts, or wearing a short skirt, obviously. My lovely long-eared bat. So a number of years go by and various things happen, as you may know if you're a long time or even a short time subscriber, and you won't know if you're new. I had breast cancer and chemotherapy and radiotherapy in 2017. I really wanted something to mark the end of that cycle of treatment. So in the July of that year, I had another thigh tattoo, which James again did for me, and that was a cat with bat wings sitting on a skull on a pile of pomegranates to tie in with the pomegranates on the fruit bat tattoo. That was in the summer after I'd finished all my radiotherapy, long after I'd finished my chemotherapy. And the thing with radiotherapy is, if you're having that treatment, they need to line up the lasers on your body very, very precisely. And I've got 3 tiny blue dots which are tattooed on me, which they do for radiotherapy. Not many people know that, but the dots are there. I didn't want to make a feature of them or combine them into my tattoos or anything like that. I've kept them separate so that when I see them I can always remember and be thankful, so thankful for the treatment that I got, for the care that I got, and you'll hear later about the support that I got. So 2018, I got my cancer all clear, and I wanted a celebratory tattoo. I wanted something that showed just how happy I was to be alive, how happy I was to have been taken such good care of by my wonderful husband, to show how happy and just overjoyed with being here that I am. And I went back to see James at the Gilded Cage, and we decided that a sun, a smiling sun, would just be the perfect tattoo to sum up how I feel. Happy, supported, bathed in love. It sounds a bit sort of hippie, but that's exactly how I felt when I got my cancer all clear, and I wanted a tattoo to express my joy, and that is my smiling happy sun. James also tidied up my magpie, because obviously he was well over 21 years of age by that time and he needed a bit of looking after. He covered over a couple of my initial roses with a big red blooming rose, more sort of a rose in its full age than a rose bud when I'd first got them. And his work is just so amazing, that I think you'll agree that the sun on my back is, well, you can almost think it's gold or bronze. And its eyes are blue like mine. So I can't say it's my favourite, because they're all my favourite, but it's probably the one that comes close to being my favourite. Also in 2018 I wanted to get a chest piece. So at the same time I was having my sun done, I had my chest piece done. And it's partly about how I feel about the world, and it's a tiny tribute as well to a wonderful person who I'd met while I was off with my cancer. I spent a lot of time online, as you can imagine, and I met this wonderful lady called Callie Black, who was a YouTuber. She lived in America, and we had so much in common. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you meet somebody and you click with them almost immediately. You had the same interests, we were the same age, we liked the same things, we were both crafters, and we were both sort of slightly witchy in our approach to life and the world. And we just got on like a house on fire. She mentioned me in her videos and I mentioned her in mine. And I was even thinking, when I'm better, I'm going to go to America and spend some time with her. But 2018, she also had cancer, but it was far too advanced to be operated on. And she sadly passed away. And that was a really upsetting time for me. But because I was so happy at getting the all clear on my cancer, and I wanted to show how the universe and the world and nature and magic and love and all these things are combined, I decided I would get a pentagram with the natural world being foregrounded. So I've got primroses, because they're very English and I love the English woods in springtime. I got wild roses, because again, the English hedgerows, when we're out running, my husband and I we're out running together in the countryside as often as we can be, and when you see all the wildflowers, it just makes you so thankful to be able to run and to be alive. And obviously my pentagram represents how I feel there's magic everywhere in nature. If you watch a bare patch of earth coming to life in the spring, that is magic. If you look up at the stars and you realise that the light you're seeing may be blinked out of existence millions of years ago, that's pretty magical. And then when you see that light reflected in a pool or on the sea, that's magic. And magic is in the love we have for each other as well. I don't want to get too carried away, but I really feel that love and magic and nature are all combined into wonderful. I almost forgot to tell you about my lovely Bumblebee. I got this because I just love bumblebees, and in the springtime I'm always picking them up off the pavement so that they don't get stepped on. Anyway, those are all my tattoos. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time when I'm sure we'll talk about something else. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and you can actually even share this video. There's a little arrow. You can share this video with your friends as well. So please stay safe, everybody, and stay weird, stay well. Bye bye now.